Of course, the vaccines that are about to expire could be too late for those, but the question's being asked, how do we stop this happening in future? Well, let's bring our attention back to the current expiring vaccines. Khadija Jamaloodien, Director at the Health Department, Director at the Health Department, joining us this morning. Khadija, good morning. I appreciate your time. I mean, I imagine for someone who works in the Health Department, this is very sad news when we know we're going to essentially have to throw away 90,000 vaccines. It's a sad moment, isn't it?
It is a sad moment because we wouldn't want to see our resources being wasted. But unfortunately, this is what the situation we are faced with currently. And in many, in many countries where vaccines have been received, it's not, it's not a surprise, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. And I mean, I understand more from the technical side as well, Khadija. This is really where your speciality comes in. I can't help but wonder, maybe you can talk me through this. Why were we not able to send these vaccines, these 90,000 vaccines, into other African countries? My understanding is it's got something to do with the cold supply, the cold storage supply chain isn't sufficient. Is that right?
So the first thing that we have to note with the Pfizer vaccine is that it requires ultra cold chain storage. Ultra cold chain meaning minus 70 degrees Celsius. And that requires a significant investment in infrastructure. So that's the first thing. South Africa, we are fortunate. We do have that kind of storage capacity, which we built literally, I would say, overnight to accommodate the Pfizer vaccine. The second thing with the Pfizer vaccine is it does have a shorter shelf life. So from the time of manufacture to the time, from the time of manufacture, the shelf life is 9 months. By the time we get the vaccine in country, that shelf life is shortened. So you've got a very limited time within which to use the vaccine. The reason why we couldn't, export that is because there are a number of regulatory and contractual terms that need to be met. So you have to ensure that when you donate the vaccine or you're going to sell the vaccine, it must be to a country that has the infrastructure to accommodate it. The second thing is there is a contractual obligation to ensure that whoever is receiving the vaccine has a no-fault compensation scheme in place in case of adverse events that may arise from the use of the vaccines. Yeah. And not all countries who could potentially accept the vaccine have those things in place. The third thing, Gareth, just to note, the demand has waxed and waned over the period just leading up to the expiry. So, on any particular day, we can use 400,000 doses, and on a week rather, we can use 400,000 doses. In another week, we can use 500,000. So, it's very difficult to predict what the demand is. And if you're going to donate a vaccine, you need to start that process at least 3 months before the expiry of that vaccine.
Just very quickly, Khadija, before I need to let you go, Khadija, just help me understand how many vaccines are in danger of expiring going forward. We know about the 90,000 now. The shelf life of Pfizer, as you say, is quite short. What is the next worrying point for expired vaccines that you're aware of before I say goodbye?
Okay, so we do have a number of vaccines that will be expiring in May, but that's sitting at our central supplier, and we do have demand for that vaccine over time. So the orders will be coming. In April, there will be no expiry, no vaccines. All those vaccines have been used up. But the May expiry is the one we're keeping our eye on, and we are expecting a usage of that vaccine as we lead up to vaccinations in preparation for the fifth wave.
In preparations for the fifth wave, that's exactly where we were going to leave it there for now, because that was going to be where we're going to go next on this story. But Khadija Jamaloodien from the Health Department, I really appreciate your time. So the 90,000 that are expiring now, it's the Pfizer vaccines. Nothing in April, according to Khadija, but May could be another issue again for more expired vaccines. We're going to stay on top of this story. It's a lot of money to throw away, considering only half the population, just over half the population, is vaccinated. All right.